So as far as it looks like, yep, Boop finally found the tunnel back there. I mean, he is just absolutely a mining and exploration machine. So, and that's the kind of thing that's going to significantly help with the UHC. Is that sort of if you're going out and you're getting everything that you can get and finding everything you can, you're going to be in good shape because of that. So Boop is over here. He's managed to pick up quite a bit of extra loot here. There's another chest. 3 on 1 on. Wow. And immediately finds, yep. Back away, Boop. It is not worth it at all. Yeah, all the XP in the world. Meanwhile, we're also exploring the mine shaft, so we're definitely getting some stuff out of it. And at this point, this is a sign that we've run across another team, so we know we're not necessarily alone in the area. And speaking of team, let's do another team check here. So we've got those guys who drilled straight down into the mine shaft. No indication. They went over here and then went down further. So they hit the mine shaft and explored it really quick, and then went out and started branch mining down here. Not exactly sure where they're at right now, because chances are I don't think they went that way. This is where having some of the mini-map not be overwritten would be kind of nice. Actually, I could really just pop out journey map if I wanted to. You can see we're about halfway through the UHC at this point. It's not this is not a particularly long UHC, just because the smaller border, smaller teams, it makes it a lot quicker to do all sorts of stuff. So if I'm going to put money on where they're currently at, this other team, seeing that we're about halfway through, I'm going to put more money on them being down and around this area, if anything. And there's the other team down here, the one that has the potential view of that, but they didn't go after the gold here. Someone clearly went down to here and must have missed the gold, or they didn't need the iron. I mean, it's... So yeah, there's nothing in the area here. I forget why I was wandering down around those tunnels. There wasn't anything there worth going into. So yeah, it's kind of regroup. Let's get some bows going. We've got our anvil finally up. And unfortunately, at this point, I start to fall back into the role from last season, which is the unofficial carrying of all things, which would turn out to be a detriment, unfortunately. And very much a reason why you shouldn't have more than one person carrying all the valuable stuff for your team. Because, yeah, you can see Eccles going after the flint there, because now we've got our bows. And there's nothing really going on around the team at this point for other teams. I mean, we're, at least as far as the render distance is letting us see, we're pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. So anyways, we've got our enchants, we've got our bows, we've got everything we really need to pull off a victory here. But we need to get into diamond gear now. So yeah, we're not too far away from the end for me. And there's our sign of a team down here. Multiple signs, because we've got some stuff going on here. Boop is popping in and out of render distance at this point. There are mobs everywhere. Yeah, I've only got sight on Eccles. Really wish the server render distance was turned up, and I understand why it's not. I mean, it would probably crush the server if it had to be. Oh, there's some cheaty diamonds over there, and ooh, someone locked out over here. It looks like that team that was branch mining out here lucked across a dungeon, and it's a skeleton dungeon. Oh, yeah, so someone's got a ready supply of bows at that point and some good XP. That is going to be interesting, especially if we find out who is down over there. And that team may, I doubt it's the same team that's out this way, because the poke holes are just way too extensive over here for that to be the case. So this is going to be interesting. We're heading right into conflicting territory. So we've got multiple shafts coming down now. Looks like over here, this was back on our original poke hole. This is interesting. There's, huh. Now the world border has started moving, of course, but where did we came down into here? Yep, that was our original shaft. So I don't remember anyone actually. I don't know if Eckel did that, trying to dig back up. Well, I guess there's one downside to not having communicated that things need to be done. So I guess we'll count that as opportunity lost. We completely missed that gold. Eckel and I are still in iron. That's really the advantage. I mean, Boop was just a mining machine. And when he's not, and at this point, now that he's got diamond, I think he's feeling a little more like he can potentially take on other teams. He's got the confidence there to know he's got the protection behind him. And meanwhile, we're still down poke holing and doing all sorts of silly stuff. I think at this point, some of it was also I was really kind of focused more on getting a decent bow at this point, which is why I'm kind of tunneling back through and getting flint. And that anvil's not going to last much longer at this point. Eckel's going along and poke holing. I'm not exactly sure where Boop has managed to run off to at this point. But, like I said, with Boop, he's definitely good enough to be able to sit out that, he's able to be that point of the spear, essentially. But it is still a risk, and it's, in some case, it is a calculated risk that, okay, you can either sit back and just poke hole nonstop, or you can go out and hopefully try to get the resources before someone else does, or at least be able to pin down and know where other teams are. And in this case, because he's up there, he's able to keep an eye out for the teams that he does know have to be in the area from all the torches and everything that are out here. But yeah, it is a challenge when you're having to work with someone who doesn't have. You can see I'm coming up to support him. I was actually trying to reflexively crouch there myself. See, I'm coming up to give him support because we know now that there are teams in. There's definitely got to be a team in this area. And I think we're going to be coming up on them pretty quick, so let's go ahead and turn this back to normal speed, because I know, unfortunately, I do owe Boop the apology. I know I smacked him with the sword, unfortunately. So unfortunately, this is the part where I know I smacked Boop with the sword. Cave fighting is very hard to work with in UHC, especially when you're in a situation like this where, for Boop, the best way to stay protected is to back up and encourage the enemy to come fight on his terms. But of course, it means that we're behind him as he's backing up, and it just gets worse from there. So Boop is now going in 2-on-1 against someone who's got diamond armor, but fortunately I'm able to distract King Drizzle. Boop is back on him, and that's all it took. Meanwhile, Stranded Shade is over here, and Shade is going to be visiting us again. You can see he's already going after a golden apple at this point. I didn't see a third teammate, and actually this is the spot where I wind up dying, if I remember right. This particular room here. So let's see if we can kind of see what Shade is going to wind up doing now. He's going to crouch. Boops. Eccles off looking for him. He's walled himself off. Eccles is walled that off. I'm running around with Boop trying to see if we can find out where that teammate went. Ah, and we ran almost right. Oh! We all ran right by his hiding hole. Ah! And he's tunneling up. Oh, he just lucked out. Oh, man. Shade, that is an epic escape right there, my friend. That is... Wow, Eccles right on him. He knows he's around somewhere because he can hear him digging at this point. And I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm just trying to keep my ear out. Meanwhile, Shade's come up in a little cave up here with more gold, of course. So if he's got another apple in the furnace, he's in pretty good shape. Fortunately, doesn't. Well, I can't tell if there's anything spawned in the cave because it'll be out of my render distance probably. But wow, Eccles is on him at this point. So Boop's gone further back. He's not seeing anything, but Eccles is definitely on the trail. And I think he's pretty much given up at this point. Yeah. So Shade is just trying to get out. And meanwhile, I run across their storage over there. So it's like, oh, okay, what do they have? I'm getting distracted by managing to recover their stuff, basically. Oh, I can go over there and look and see what's up and take a look around and see if I can see anything. I forget what I was doing at that point. Maybe I was looking through... oh, yeah, I was going through inventory. It's like, okay, well, they've got some spare armor. Now, meanwhile, Shade is over here. Tunneling away. But I know he's not going to stay away forever. Michael's coming over to help look at what we've got. And that's our enchanted apple. Meanwhile, Eccles and Boop have gone off in this direction. Eccles kind of coming back up the tunnel to see what's up. But meanwhile, Shade, you can see, is locked onto me. Now, the good news is I do hear him come down on me from mining. And actually, Eccles missed him right there again, too. I know at this point that we do definitely have one guy out. And yeah, I think I even managed to look over and saw the spawner out of the corner of my eye over here, the skelly spawner. So it's like, oh, they even have a spawner. And at that point, I'm a little more excited by that than anything, because like, oh, I have to go see what that spawner is. But I can hear people digging above me at this point, so I know there's someone coming after me. So now I'm going to shift, and I'm taking the apple because I know I'm down on health and there's someone in the area. So I'm letting it go a little bit just to kind of lure him out. Now, unfortunately, I don't have my blasted... See, I've got my pick in my hand, and that is going to be my undoing. Because right here is the keyboard fumble of the century. There are two things I did wrong here. First, did not have my sword ready to go. That was a mistake. Second, at this point, I have a bucket of lava on my hotbar. If I'd been thinking, I could have put it down right there and stopped him dead in his tracks. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So I'm going after him, and then you can see that at this point, I'm in inventory screw-up mode. I've got torches in my hand, for crying out loud. So down I go. All the enchanted stuff, all of the... Oh, my emeralds. The anvil. Well, the anvil was mostly damaged anyways. That was pretty much a goner, and he's probably picked up the enchanting table too, I think, because I don't recall having it now. In terms of directions, I at least was able to tell the team yet where we came in, basically the obsidian where we came in. So Boop is already on his way back over. Eckel is way up top, just finally, he's on the back end of the trail, unfortunately, a little too late. So Boop has seen Shade, has not seen Shade, which is a shame because he was definitely visible from there. Not sure why Boop's going down that tunnel, but come on, he's sitting right there. You can go after him. Now, Eckel's just taking damage from falling, but he's on Shade's tail. So I'm sitting here watching this unfold. So this is my first time actually seeing it from this angle. So, okay, Eckel has gone through there. He's tunneling off to the side. Good idea. Shade is managing to, unfortunately, get away, and Eckel has kind of given up. He's gone back to that little hidey hole of his. But Eckel knows exactly where he is, right? Nope. Right back into that little hole and right back running away from the others. So at this point, it's like, okay, I can't. This is the part where I'm fighting with myself. How much can I tell them? And it's like, nope, I can't tell them anymore. But fortunately, it looks like Eckel remembered what he did last time. So they are on the case. Kind of. So Shade has to be thinking to himself, boy, I've managed a miraculous escape here. This is going to be a little screwy for rendering after this point, because now I'm in observer mode. I wasn't sure how ReplayMod was actually going to handle this, but I'm actually pretty pleased to see that it did a pretty good job of it, it looks like. So Shade is now back in his little cave. Eckel has given up and is shifted him back down.